Hello, this is going to be a video tutorial going over how to use Solver to maximize the effectiveness of a marketing campaign. So we have a company XYZ and they have a budget of $100,000 and they're wondering how to allocate it amongst radio, TV, newspaper, and magazine ads. The objective here is to maximize the effectiveness of the campaign. So that means the objective is to maximize the number of people that will have either seen, read, or heard the ad. To this end, the impact of each ad in each medium has been assessed and assigned a number of exposures, capturing the number of potential customers who will see the ad. So we have how many people will see each ad provided right here. The table below gives the exposures and cost per ad for each medium, along with the minimum and maximum number of ads, which are set by management, so the min and max per medium that can be placed here. The overall question is how many ads should be placed in each medium? We're going to approach this or tackle this through Solver. However, before we can open up the Solver dialog box, we need to do setup calculations first. So actually, in order to set this up, what I'm going to do is copy and paste this data and just put it over here somewhere. Now, what we need to do is to maximize the number of people that will have seen, heard, or read the ad. And that is given per ad right here in this exposures. So what we actually need to do is to calculate, before we even go into Solver, the number of people that will have potentially seen the ad. So here, I'm going to have a new row. I'm going to say number of ads to place here. And this is going to be a variable column or variable row, sorry. And then I'm going to use that to calculate the total exposures. And the total exposures will be the number of exposures per ad multiplied by the number of ads we place in each medium. And if I copy and paste this over, I can total it up. And I know I have a bunch of zeros right now, and you might be wondering why. That's okay. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. Now that I have this row created in the associated total, I can say well, 5 radio ads will have been seen by 1,000 people or heard by 1,000 people, which is just the 5 ads multiplied by $200 or 200 exposures. Or if I place 1 newspaper ad, it will be reached by 250 people. So here is my variable. These are my changing cells. I want to know how much to place in each medium to maximize the total exposures across all 4. So this cell here becomes my objective, my total of the exposures. But of course, right now, effectiveness is maximized if just these numbers get pushed to infinity. If I push these numbers to a really, really big number, it will make my overall total exposures a really, really big number. But I can't do that. I have restrictions. Firstly, I have this budget of $100,000. So let's also calculate the cost associated with it here. And the cost is going to be the number of ads placed by the cost per ad. And again, this is just going to produce a bunch of zeros for me, and that's okay. Because I want Excel to tell me what numbers to put here. I don't want to do any of the thinking. I just want to do the setup. So if I place 1 ad, as soon as I press enter, the total exposures here will be 1,200 for TV, and the cost will be 2,500 here. Or if I push it to 2, I think you get the point. Okay, so I'm almost there. This is actually pretty much the whole setup I need. I might do one more thing. What will I do? I'll put my budget here. My budget was 100,000. And I'll also calculate a remaining budget, which is 100,000 minus my total cost. So if I place 5 magazine ads, each magazine ad cost me $1,075. The total for magazine is $5,375. I have the total here. My budget's 100,000, so I still have 94,000 to allocate. But I'm just gonna I don't need any numbers here now. What I'm going to do now is open up Solver. Now, if you don't have Solver installed, refer to content elsewhere in order to activate it. But I've got the Solver dialog box here. I'll open it up. To activate Solver, you need to go to File and then Options, bottom left. And then from the Options menu, there's add-ins on the left-hand side, and you click Go next to the bottom, and you'll toggle on the Solver feature here, this add-in. The first thing here is to set what my objective is. It tells me the objective is to maximize the effectiveness of the advertising campaign. So I want my objective to be like this cell here, M17, where I'm calculating the total number of exposures across all 4 mediums. I want that value to be the maximum value it can possibly be. I have 4 changing cells, which is the number of ads to place within each medium. And if I were to click solve right now, it would just push all of the ads to place to infinity because I haven't constrained this model in any way. It wouldn't be able to find a solution. I do have a couple of restrictions. One of which is my budget. So here what I'll say, I'll add a constraint and I'll say add. I'll have my constraint dialog box come up. I'll say my remaining budget must be greater than or equal to 0. Click OK. This will find a solution. And I'll just do it to illustrate what's going on. Actually, no, I won't. I'll finalize more of the problem first. So we've gotten that. We've gotten the budget constraint. The budget, we can't exceed more than $100,000. So I've said the remaining budget must be greater than or equal to 100. But we also have like the minimum and the maximum. It says the minimum and the maximum ads by each medium. So like, for example, the minimum number of radio ads is to be 100. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to add another constraint here. I'm going to say this number here must be greater than or equal to like this 100. I'm going to click add. This number here must be less than or equal to the maximum for radio and add. And just go through this one by one. The TV ads must be less than or equal to 90. Add. Oops. Must be less than or equal to. Oh, look at that. I made a mistake. TV J15 must be less than or equal to J16. Add. Greater than or equal to the minimum. And 2 more times. Newspaper greater than or equal to 0. Newspaper less than or equal to 60. One more time. Magazine greater than or equal to 0. And magazine less than or equal to 15. I'm just going to take a look at this. I've added all these constraints here. I actually could have selected multiple cells at a time and then selected multiple cells, but I decided to do it one at a time. I'm going to click solve at this point and just see what happens. I'll click solve. And I get like a solution. It said it found an optimal solution. And I can view some reports if I want. I'm not going to right now. I could return to the dialog box if I toggle this on. I won't. I'll go back. I'll just look at the spreadsheet and just examine what's going on. My budget is fully consumed, so that's good. And it tells me this ad campaign will be seen by 49,000 people. Also good. But pay close attention to this 3.7. Actually, I don't know if it's possible to place 0.7 of an ad. So maybe I should have added this as a constraint within my model. So let's go back in and do that. I'm going to leave everything else as it is, but I'm going to go back and add one more constraint. This constraint will be these changing cells here, these variable cells. I'm going to say these changing cells, these variable cells must be integer values, and click OK. Now I'm going to solve this again, and we'll see what happens. I found a solution, 100, 10, 59, and 4. And I have a remaining budget of $50. It's not possible for me to, if I place whole ads, to fully consume that $100,000, which is why it's important for us that we selected greater than or equal to a remaining budget of 0 and not exactly equal to 0. We've got $50 left over, and this is the optimal solution. Now, before I conclude this video, I want to highlight one thing. If I go back into the solver dialog box, what I can do is save this solver model here. So I'm going to click on this load or save button, and I'll put this into O1 and click on save. What I have here now, if I close out of my dialog, is all of the constraints in my objective function summarized. So if I have this and my solver dialog box is empty, what I can do is pre-populate all of my constraints, my changing cells in my objective cell just by referencing this range. For example, let me open up solver. I'll click on reset all. Okay. Close. Now I'll go back in and you can see like there's nothing in my solver model whatsoever. But if I click on load or save and I select this range here in load, it will populate everything for me. So there you have it, an introduction to Excel's solver.